Calamity on the Zenith seed. It's something I've been trying to avoid for a while, but you guys really wanted me to do it, so I delivered. In case if you didn't know, Calamity is the biggest mod in Terraria, and the Zenith seed is a secret seed in vanilla Terraria, which combines every single secret seed in the game. Thanks for 50k subs, I never thought I'd get this far, but I'm going for the big 100k, so like, comment and subscribe, as it'll help the algorithm. Just so you know, my goal for this video is to beat Supreme Calamitas, and whatever abomination the Exomex turned out to be in the seed, I will not be trying to beat Cirrus and the Lord. Cirrus is not even supposed to be beatable, and the Lord is just an ultra cheesable boss, and there isn't really any point to beating it. If you want all the music credits in my mod list, they're in the description. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Enough stalling, and let's begin. Play the intro.
What the hell is this?
So I generated this cursed abomination of a world. Yeah, in this seed, we spawn in the underworld. But interestingly enough, the tax collector replaced the guide. But in the Get Fixed Boy seed, the NPCs that are supposed to spawn are the tax collector, the steampunker, the party girl, and the princess. Also, I wasn't starving for some reason, which was another change that was supposed to happen in the seed. Now let me just explain for a bit. At first, I thought maybe these changes were made by Calamity, but a user DM'd me saying that my world possibly didn't generate all of the changes, and it might be because of how much mods I had enabled. At the time I received the DM, I was already post Moonlord, so yeah, that sucked. But don't worry, only some of the changes were gone. They were very minor changes that didn't really make the game much harder, so I would have still suffered the same amount if my world generated correctly. In fact, there were even some changes that didn't generate, which actually made it harder, which I'll get into later. Plus, all of the Zenith seed boss changes are still there, which are the main focus of the seed in Calamity. But anyways, I continued. I went to the top right of my screen and enabled Death Mode. If you don't know, Calamity adds two new modes called Revengeance and Death Mode. Death Mode is the hardest mode, which adds many new boss changes. So on top of all of the pain in this secret seed, we're enabling Death Mode. Funny. I also used my two starter bags, one of them being the Calamity one and the other one being my own starter bag to speed things up. I immediately got jumped by lava slimes. But you hear that? That's the death sound in the seed. Yup. I tried chopping down some trees, and yep, I died. I had to rejoin just because of the amount of enemies that were spawning. I returned to chopping, and I placed my magic storage system. Magic storage helps me store my items with way more storage than chests, so it's way more organized. Then I went up. Guess what happened? I died. I made my way through the mushroom biome that was right above the underworld. In the Zenith seed, right above the underworld, there are mushroom biomes. But they were supposed to be colored rainbow, so I guess that was one of the errors in generating the seed. But the crispy honey blocks made it very annoying to navigate. At one point, I finally made it to a forest, or I guess the underground forest. I mined some ores, and I managed to find Hermes boots. That's actually amazing. Then I found Hermes boots. Again. I mean, I already had some, but I'll take it. Then I found another pair of Hermes boots. Hello? Why? Then I died. Also, the queen bee spawned for some reason. If you don't know, in the seed, queen bee larvas are all around the world. So I will accidentally spawn queen bee many times in this world. But eventually, I found my first Draydon lab. In case if you were wondering, Draydon labs are located all around the underground. Or I guess, the overground in the seed. They can contain some nice loot, so of course I looted it. Then I made a few insta houses. In case if you were wondering, insta houses are from Fargo's Mutant mod. I also crafted some lead armor. It wasn't the best armor, but I'll take whatever I can get. Then I waited for a long time, so the merchant could move in. Eventually he moved in and I bought a piggy bank, so at least we won't lose all our gold when we die. Then this was the point where I just kept dying. Over and over again. I was just making no progress. I managed to find a band of regen, so that's good. Also in Calamity, you can craft life crystals. Cool, right? You just need some healing potions, rubies, and stone. At this point, I only managed to craft one. I found another Draydon lab, so I looted that. I just kept trying to mine up in hopes of more loot. Then I started on a elevator to the surface. But for some reason, lava was falling really slow. At first, I thought Calamity just added that so they could piss people off, but we will find the reason way later into the playthrough. It's also the reason why I was receiving so many more lag spikes than normal. I found another life crystal, so hey, at least I was making progress. More deaths ensued, so I'll start being a bit more brief. I think you guys get the gist. Also, lava invaded my house, so that was very annoying to deal with. I wanted more NPCs, so I made a bunch of more insta houses. Also, I killed a piggy. I realized I had more rubies, so I crafted more life crystals. While I was mining, I felt an evil presence watch me, but I didn't see the message, so I just kept mining and... more deaths, yup. I kept working on my elevator, and for some reason, I found not one, not two, but 3 life crystals next to each other. I don't know how, but hey, I'm not complaining. I managed to find a glowing moss biome, and I had some pretty cool loot. By that, I mean death. I crafted a full set of gold armor, a gold broadsword, and a gold pickaxe. So I had full health, good armor, good accessories, but there was one thing I was missing. A good weapon. But I remembered about a weapon called the Bladecrest Oath Sword. The Bladecrest Oath Sword is a weapon dropped by demons in the underworld, so it's supposed to be used after the Brain of Cthulhu, but you can get it before fighting any boss. So I sit in a box and farm demons using summons. Also, every single demon in this seed is a voodoo demon. After a while of farming, I got it. If you're wondering, the Bladecrest Oath Sword shoots these flame projectiles that can home and do really good damage. But once again, an evil presence watched me, so I set up a very quick arena, and it spawned. Now, in the Calamity Zenith seed, the Eye of Cthulhu is way faster. He's very fast, so naturally, I died. For some reason, while I was using the Bladecrest Oath Sword, for fun, Queen Bee spawned. I recalled, but I forgot one crucial thing. The Queen Bee does not despawn even if you recall. So yeah, I went to a demon altar and crafted both a slime crown and a suspicious looking eye. So I tried my first fight with a king slime. But then, I noticed something. I died, but he didn't despawn. Then I realized something. If you die, King Slime only despawns once he goes off screen. But since he's so big, he gets stuck and can't go off screen. So even if I die, he won't despawn. I tried the strategy, but his health got too low, so he was small enough to despawn once I died. After a few attempts of this strategy, I finally won against my first boss. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna give you guys 5 seconds to look at the screenshot. Can you notice something weird? The answer is the fact that the King Slime drops Aria cells. If you guys don't know, the Calamity Zenith seed makes it so that every boss drops something weird and out of progression. And the King Slime drops Aria cells, which are supposed to be dropped by Astrum Arius, a hard mode boss. So at least to compensate with the fact that the bosses are going to be stupid, we also get stupid items that aren't in line with progression. Cool, huh? I then fought the Eye of Cthulhu. It was actually quite easy because of how good the Bladecrest Oath Sword was. I managed to get the Shield of Cthulhu, which was pretty cool. But you know how the King Slime drops Aria cells? Well, the Eye of Cthulhu drops the Optic Staff. I'm not kidding. We already get a hard mode staff in pre-hard mode. I ain't complaining. Then I decided to completely relocate my base from the underworld to the forest. The underworld had a lot of enemies, and plus, I wanted to use that as a boss arena, so relocating to the forest would make sense. I moved all of my NPCs there, and I finally had a proper base in the forest. Then I streamed for a bit, so you guys get to see some live reactions. Since I wanted to fight the Desert Scourge, I mined for a bit to look for the desert. Where is the desert? I'm looking for the desert, please, not the jungle. Where did that come from? I took a break from trying to find the desert and instead I mined up to try and find the surface. Of course I died many times, specifically because of the crispy honey blocks. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's the content. I gotta do it for the content. I'm gonna die. But eventually, with the usage of sticky bombs, I finally made it to the surface. We made it! The surface! Oh my god. We're about to die anyways, but you know what? I'm done. I'm done. Then funnily enough, I ended stream for that day. But I went back to the surface and I searched everywhere, but it was all corruption, no crimson. Now in the Zenith seed, it's supposed to be half corruption, half crimson. Yeah, this was also one of the errors in the world gen, and this was one of the errors that made it harder instead of easier for me, since I was forced to fight the Eater of Worlds and the Hive Mind, instead of being able to also fight the Brain of Cthulhu and the Perforators. Then I bought a few 30-stack potions from the brewer NPC. If you're wondering, 30-stack potions are basically, if you have 30 of one potion, you get that buff permanently. Also, I accidentally spawned the Hive Mind. But I went back to trying to find the desert. Since I couldn't find it on the left, I went to the right instead. At first, I found the snow biome, which was very cool. Get it? Cool? Snow? Why aren't you laughing? But while I was mining, a blood moon appeared. So that was a chance for some nice loot. So I went back and farmed some blood moon enemies. I got a lot of money, as well as a shark tooth necklace. But after the blood moon ended, I went back to trying to find the desert, and I found it. And I died to the queen bee. But here's the funny part. There's this calamity biome called the Sunken Sea, which is right under the desert, and I found that as well. But the funny thing is that my desert was legit merged with my snow biome. I found that weird but also funny. Also, you're supposed to not be able to enter the Sunken Sea before you kill the Desert Scourge, but I guess the Zenith Seed changes that. But now that I found the desert, I used the Filibuster to explode an area in the desert, so I can make space to fight the Desert Scourge. More queen bees, yay! I went to the desert so I can grind antlions for antlion mandibles, as well as stormlines for stormline mandibles, a new calamity material. So I crafted the desert medallion, and I summoned the Desert Scourge. But watch for a close second. If the Desert Scourge enters water, it becomes the Aquatic Scourge. Why? So I made an arena in the actual deserts instead of the Sunken Sea, so the Desert Scourge doesn't turn into the Aquatic Scourge. Then I summoned the Desert Scourge there. The Desert Scourge looked a bit weird. Also, he shot a ton of projectiles. Did I die? Of course. So I tried adding more platforms, but that didn't do anything. In case if you're wondering why there's sand on my arena, I have no idea. I think one of the desert enemies summoned sand or something, but I actually don't know. It was so annoying to deal with. I tried fighting the eye for more money. Ignore that. Then I went to space, because I wanted to see if there was any loot that would help me. By the way, in space, Calamity adds these planetoids that spawn. They can give some good loot, but in the Calamity Zenith Seed, they actually have cobalt in them. Now you might think this is useless because you can't mine in pre-hard mode, but just wait. Then I made a new weapon called the Veering Wind. The Veering Wind shot a pulse around the player, which dealt damage. Right-clicking will make a slower but even bigger pulse. I wanted this weapon since I thought it would be good for the Desert Scourge, and indeed it was way better than my Bladecrest Oath Sword. But I still died? But I had an idea. Cobalt armor. You're probably confused, but remember the cobalt that spawned in the planetoids? Well, we can actually mine it if we use a Reaver Shark. You might think that would be impossible since the Reaver Shark got nerfed and can't mine cobalt, but for some reason, Calamity actually unnerfed it. I'm not kidding. So I looked for the ocean by platforming the surface, but for some reason, one of the oceans was just filled with water. Turns out this was the abyss. By the way, the abyss is upside down in the seed. So I platformed to the other side, and when I found the regular ocean, I started fishing. I was able to use multiple lines at once because of Fargo's Mutant mod, but for some reason, I got 2 Reaver Sharks at the same time. I don't know how, but sure. Also, I got vaporized. Funny. But I used the Reaver Shark to mine cobalt from the planetoids. After getting enough cobalt, I went to the right of the underworld to try and get a Hellforge, since I needed a Hellforge to convert the cobalt ore into bars. It took me a few deaths, but eventually I got one. I used the cobalt ores to make a set of cobalt mage armor. Now we have hard mode armor in pre-hard mode. Nice. Also using all the tattered cloth I had, I made the Goblin Battle Standard, and I summoned the Goblin Army. The Goblin Army was honestly okay. I didn't die, and it was fine, so I beat it. Now that I beat the Goblin Army, I started looking for the Goblin Tinkerer. I finally found him after like half an hour of searching, so I fought the Desert Scourge a few more times, but I just kept dying. But just when I was starting to lose hope, The Desert Scourge dropped starfish, seashells, coral, and pearl shards. But the unique Zenith seed drop the Desert Scourge had was the Sandtooth necklace. If you don't know, the Sandtooth necklace is an upgraded version of the Sharktooth necklace, and normally it's obtained in hard mode. As I started to stream again, some more live reactions. Using materials from the Desert Scourge, I crafted sea remains, and I used that to make Victide armor. Honestly, I don't know why I did this. I could have kept using cobalt armor, but whatever. Then I crafted the Decapitita sprout, and I summoned Crabulon. Oh, what is happening? My screen. So these are just illusions, basically. Okay, but this is easy so far. Oh, he's fast. Oh, he's fast. What is happening? Oh, we did it. Oh, it drops. What is that? It drops 9,000 shrooms. We got infinite platinum. Since Crabulon drops a lot of odd mushrooms, we were able to sell them all for some very nice money. So now we basically have infinite money. After doing some reforging, I bought some 30-stack potions because, well, we have infinite money. It's amazing, isn't it? I fought the Eye for some Demonite, and I used that to make Demonite storage upgrades to upgrade my storage system. Also, I fought the Torch God for fun. I don't know why, but chat wanted me to do it. Since the Giant Clam was next on the boss checklist, I went to a Sunken Sea to wait for the Giant Clam to spawn. Eventually, it spawned, and so I beat it. In case if you didn't know, an NPC called Amidius spawns once you beat the Giant Clam. After that, I made a small arena in the surface. Happened again. Wait, are we actually gonna beat this? Imagine if we beat this. Imagine if we beat this. That was a waste. So after crafting the worm food, I summoned the Eater of Worlds. Oh, we are doing damage. We are doing damage. Oh god, wait, what happened to my health? But the funny part is, the Eater segments actually drop light discs in the Calamity Zenith seed. But we can actually use this to our advantage, using Shimmer. Since Shimmer can decraft light discs, we can get access to Howled Bars, Souls of Might, and Souls of Light very early. So I set my eye on finding the Shimmer, but for some reason, I just couldn't find it. So I went back to fighting the Eater of Worlds. Alright, go. 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 Don't mess it up. Don't throw. Don't throw. There's like a million things on screen. Just die. Just die, please. Just die. Just die. Okay. 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 GG's. GG's. Then I crafted a few instivators and used them right by the ocean. My plan was to keep using instivators till I found the Shimmer. Very smart of me, right? While I was searching, I found the Corruption Shrine, which had a Corruption effigy. When a Corruption effigy is placed down, you get 10% more movement speed and 10% more critical strike chance. But you also get 5% decreased damage reduction. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I shimmered in all my light discs. So now we've got Howled Bars. The first thing I did was I crafted Ancient Howled Armor. I didn't craft normal Howled Armor because I needed a Mithril Anvil. But Ancient Howled Armor was craftable with a Demon Altar. So I tried to fight the Hive Mind again. But it spawned. There's another Hive Mind. Why is there another Hive Mind? Wait. No, there's another one. However, chat told me I could craft the SHPC. The SHPC is a hard mode magic weapon, and you need mithril bars. Now, how was I gonna get mithril bars? Simply put, I could convert howled bars to adamantite, and then adamantite to mithril. I also went to a planetoid lab in the sky, and I found the prototype plasma drive core, which was in the SHPC recipe. I crafted it, and now we have an insane hard mode magic weapon in pre-hard mode. But I'm just gonna let you know, the SHPC is gonna be quite funny in this playthrough. I won't spoil it. I instantly summoned the Hive Mind again, and I absolutely shredded it using the SHPC. Alright, here comes the other Hive Minds, but we'll be able to kill it. Alright, GG's! Kill me, it's fine, we got it. GG's! The Calamity Zenith seed dropped from the Hive Mind are all the emblems. Alright, funny. I went to a jungle to find a beehive, and I summoned the Queen Bee. At one point, I just decided to fight it in the underworld instead. But in case if you didn't know, not only is the Queen Bee faster, but she also summons plague enemies. Yup, if you didn't know, these plague enemies are supposed to be post-golem, and they dropped a material called plague cell canisters. So we have a post-golem material in pre-hard mode. Then I ended stream for the day. I tried finding the dungeon and I did find it, but it wasn't under a tree like usual in the seed. Guess that's another one of the errors. But I summoned Skeletron and, well, what do you expect? We have hard mode weapons and hard mode armor. All Skeletron really did was shoot more projectiles and summon more enemies. But I won't bother showing a big montage for this fight because we just melted it. Also, Skeletron drops a flamethrower in the Calamity Zenith seed. I didn't really have a need for the dungeon right now, so I didn't go. So I crafted the overloaded sludge and summoned the next boss, the Slime God. In the Calamity Zenith seed, the Slime Gods are way faster. Also, they're really small. But I died because my arena in the underworld was too small. So I crafted some obsidian insta bridges and I used them in the underworld. By the way, this was a big mistake. I'll tell you guys about it later. So I summoned the Slime God again, and after more deaths, I won. The Slime God drops a gelatin crystal in the Calamity Zenith seed. Funny. But right after the fight, I realized there was water in the underworld. I didn't know why, but I just ignored it for now. Also, this correlates to why I was lagging very badly. But I used the electrolyte gel pack that dropped from the Slime God, which gives more adrenaline mode damage and more damage reduction. Then I went straight to fighting the Wall of Flesh. Wait. No, not the Wall of Flesh. The Wall of Fishron. There's a running gag in my channel where I use a Wall of Fishron texture pack purely for fun, so take notice of that. Of course, I died. But hey, I tried again. If you're wondering, the Wall of Flesh, Wall of Fishron, is not only small, but the projectiles also do much more damage, as well as having much more speed. But of course, the SHPC speaks for itself. The Wall of Fishron's Calamity Zenith seed drop is the Eye of Magnus, which reduces enemy damage reduction when used. It also dropped a Demon Heart, so naturally I used that for the extra accessory slot.
That sucker over there.
A new biome called the Astral Infection spawned in the surface. We're going to be fighting a few bosses here, so take notice of that. There's also a meteor of astral ore in the middle, but right now we can't mine it. I bought the counter scarf from the cloth here, and I upgraded it into the evasion scarf, which gives you a dash, and also gives you a chance to dodge attacks. Then I went into the jungle to hunt for life fruits. In Calamity, life fruits actually start spawning once hard mode begins instead of after killing one mech boss. After making some fairy wings, I just went straight to fighting the queen slime by using the gelatin crystal I got from the slime god. I didn't have much upgrades at this point as I already had good armor and a good weapon. The queen slime isn't really too different in the Calamity Zenith seed. It might be a bit faster, but it was really easy. But while I was fighting the queen slime, I noticed that there was more water than before in the underworld, and I lagged very badly. But I connected the dots together. There was water in the underworld. That only started happening after I used obsidian insta bridges, and that's when I realized the abyss. The abyss was the entire reason water was spawning in the underworld. My obsidian insta bridges probably destroyed the abyss on the right of the underworld, which might have caused water to start spawning, which made me lag horribly. So after I beat the queen slime, I made a wall at the very right of the underworld where the abyss was, so at least I blocked the water from going to the left. But I still wanted to block it completely, so just in case, I decided to block the top of the underworld at the right, so no water can get into the underworld. Eventually, the water started to disappear, and I stopped lagging, so the source of my lag was completely gone. So I used a Filibuster to explode a space in the snow biome. Since I wanted to fight, cryogen. You'll see why it's in quotation marks. Also check out the status message. I'll give you 3 seconds to answer this question. What will happen? A. The Destroyer will spawn. B. The Twins will spawn. C. Skeletron Prime will spawn. If you said any of those answers, you're wrong. Because the trick to answering this question was combining all of them. But anyways, I made a few platforms in my snow biome, and I farmed enemies in the snow biome for a new Calamity material called Essence of Ilium. I used the Essence of Ilium to make the Cryo Key, but it was red? It's supposed to be blue? So I tried summoning Cryogen, and it was not Cryogen, it was Pyrogen. All of its ice attacks were replaced with Brimstone Flame attacks, and it also spawns a Red Devil. But hey, I still beat it. Pyrogen's unique Zenith Seed drop was the Blood Flare Core, a post-Moonlord accessory which makes you temporarily lose defense when you get hit, but you regenerate more health. Then I crafted the Akram's Razor and used that to summon Medusa. Basically, Medusa is a combination of every mech boss. It's a boss that's only able to be spawned in this secret seed, but I died so many times. So I made a full switch to the melee class. I used melee hallowed armor instead of mage hallowed armor, and I used the warrior emblem instead of the sorcerer emblem. The weapon that I used was the avalanche, a weapon dropped from Cryogen, and whenever you hit an enemy with it, these ice crystals summoned which dealt some amazing damage. I died, but I was doing more damage. Eventually I was able to get a try where I killed the destroyer, but I used a strategy where once I killed the destroyer, I switched back to mage armor and accessories and I used the SHPC instead of the avalanche. The avalanche was amazing for the destroyer, but it wasn't that good for the twins and Skeletron Prime. I got agonizingly close, so eventually it happened. If you're wondering what the unique Calamity Zenith Seed drops are for Medusa, the Destroyer drops the Bloodworm, the Twins drop the Eye of Cthulhu Yo-Yo, and Skeletron Prime drops Bone Wings. But the Eye of Cthulhu Yo-Yo is pretty handy. I went to a Calamity Brimstone Crag Biome and mined up some Infernal Suvite, and I made the Charred Idol. Using the Charred Idol, I summoned the Brimstone Elemental, but the Eye of Cthulhu Yo-Yo was absolutely shredding. But whenever the Brimstone Elemental teleports, she summons lasers. She can also heal at one point of the fight, so that was very annoying to deal with. But once she gets very low, she actually summons projectiles from the Anahita and Leviathan fight, so that was pretty funny. The Brimstone Elemental's Calamity Zenith Seed drop was the Heart of the Elements. The Heart of the Elements summons all the elementals in the game, and it's a post-lunatic cultist accessory. Most of the time I hate the seed, but sometimes it can be fun to play because of all of these stupid drops. Then I started working on making a giga giant arena in the surface. I was gonna need a good arena for some of the later bosses, but I'm gonna be real here, I took so long to make this arena and I don't think I used it much for boss fights in this playthrough. But I used the Eye of Desolation to summon the Calamitous Clone. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Calamitous Clone makes a box. My space is very limited. Not only that, but the attacks do way more damage, and bullet hell is always on. I choked when the brothers summoned. I stopped using my arena in the surface and instead used my cryogen arena, because the low gravity of the surface made it way harder to dodge. So I upgraded my Spectre Boots into Angel Treads, and I made a complete switch to the Summoner class. My armor set was the Spider Armor, and my accessories were the Jelly Charge Battery, the Heart of the Elements, and the Summoner Emblem, as they all gave me extra minion slots and summon damage. For my weapons, I used the Wither Blossom Staff, the Sun God Staff, and the Cryogenic Staff. If you're wondering how I have the Wither Blossom Staff before Golem, it's because of the Plague Canisters I got from the Queen Bee fight. So I tried the fight one more time, and I was doing very good damage. There was just one problem. I could not see. The amount of summons I had made it insanely hard to see, specifically the Heart of the Elements. So I used Critter Shampoo with Shadow Dye to make all my summons completely black, so I could see the projectiles more. I also hunted for more life roots to max my HP out, and I crafted the Blood Orange for an extra 25 more HP. I streamed again, so yeah, more live reactions. I farmed the Old One's army. No way, the Old One's army being useful? Well, I wanted Defender medals. I used the Defender medals to buy Monk armor. Monk armor doesn't give any minion slots, but it gives sentry slots. So I tested some sentries. Do I do more damage or no? Okay, what the? Wait, these sentries? So yeah, the Cryogenic Staff was actually really good. I also farmed the Solar Eclipse for a broken Batwing, and I was able to craft the Batwings. But of course, I still died. So I moved the Dread to a graveyard biome and bought some Crimson Seeds. Using those seeds, I made an artificial Crimson biome. Then I summoned up the Perforators. Now why did I summon the Perforators? Well, ignore that, but the Perforators drop Blood Fins and the Zenith Seed, which are supposed to be post Moonlord, and they heal you for 240 HP, so they're way better than my current healing potions. That hitbox is so annoying! So I killed the Brain of Cthulhu for the Occult Skull Crown, which is the Brain's unique Calamity Zenith Seed drop. It's supposed to be post Moonlord, but it makes you generate rage and adrenaline faster. Back to fighting this stupid boss. Rod of Discord. Guys, is this cheese or no? Guys, chat, is this cheese or no? It's fine, alright, sure. So we got... Guess we can't use the Rod of Discord anymore. But I went to the dungeon and found the mechanic, so I can set up some heart statues. Heart statues will immensely help. I didn't want to place too much so I don't cheese the fight, but for some reason, chat wanted me to place more. Blame my chat if this is too cheesy, don't blame me. But the next try, I got Calamitous Clone really low, so eventually... Alright, go again. We got this. I just need to focus a bit more. I just need to try to focus on the bullet hell a bit more. Focus. Just one more bullet hell. And we can do this. Chat, don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Let's go! The Calamitous Clone's Zenith Seed drop is Ashes of Annihilation, which are supposed to drop from the Supreme Calamitas, but they're completely useless because we need other endgame materials to craft anything with them. I made an arena in the jungle and summoned Plantera. This has way more health. Am I using all my summons? I am. I think we're probably gonna die in the second phase, but this is just like a try right now. Alright, here it comes. We're probably gonna die here. Yeah, I figured. I switched back to Mage because of how good the SHPC was for dealing with Plantera's tentacles. Did I die? Yep. So I used heart statues in the Plantera arena, and I summoned Plantera again. I'm gonna try to save up adrenaline for the next phase. Go! Go, adrenaline! Adrenaline! Oh, why'd I go there? Heart statues are doing my work. It's going fast. It's speeding, but the heart statues. GG's. Yep. Do you guys really think this is not cheese? This heart statue is straight up carried. I actually don't want to use this anymore. Do you guys really think this is not cheese? From now on, I started limiting myself with the heart statues. They're supposed to help me, but they aren't supposed to completely carry me. Also, remember how I told you about how the SHPC is going to be quite funny? Well, it scales. Basically, as you progress, the SHPC gets stronger and stronger, getting 10% more damage after Plantera, another 15% more damage after Golem, another 350% more damage after Occultist, and, well, just read the picture if you want to know all the buffs. Also, Plantera's Calamity Zenith seed drop are a lot of life fruits. But anyways, I set my eyes on crafting the Terra Ray. It was a mage weapon that shot a ray, but it was quite annoying to craft, so I had to spend a lot of time grinding. Eventually, I crafted it, and I reforged it. Then I made a new armor set called the Brimflame Armor, a mage armor set made with Ashes of Calamity and Unholy Cores. Then I dug an arena at the Astral Infection. I crafted the Astral Chunk, and I summoned the worst boss in the game, Astrum Arius. In this channel, I absolutely hate Astrum Arius. I despise it. Whatever that robot is, I hate it. And in the Calamity Zenith Seed, he's big. And he also one-shots. I crafted the Asgard's Veiler for a better dash accessory, and of course, more Astrum Arius deaths. Also, I streamed again. Like, see, how am I supposed to dodge this part? After dying more times, I bought some prismatic lace wings from the Calamity Drunk Princess NPC. My plan was to fight the Empress pre-Golem for the Terra Prisma and then absolutely melt Arius. What? Apparently in this seed, you need to summon it in the underground to fight it. So I summoned it in the underworld. Oh my god. Why? Just die. Just die. Just die. That messed me up. That messed me up. That messed me. Oh my god. I'm choking. How am I supposed to dodge that? But hey, at least I got it pretty close to death. So after upgrading my armor to Spectre armor, I summoned the Empress again. I swear, if this... Oh... Just die. Just die already. Just die. Please. Please, just die. You stupid... I hate that. I hate it. Oh my god, those dodges. Those dodges. Those dodges are perfect. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Empress is pretty much the same. I didn't notice anything too different, so it was very easy. I was so close to adrenaline. Why? That's so stupid. Go. 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 Oh my god, just die. I don't want to die, thanks. Alright. The Empress of Light drops the Terraformer, an upgraded version of the Contaminator. I bought some treasure bags for the Terra Prisma. In Calamity, the Terra Prisma can also drop from the normal Empress of Light, not just daytime. I switched back to my Summoner loadout, and I farmed the Pumpkin Moon for both the Necromantic Scroll and the Spooky Wood to craft Spooky Armor. Eventually I crafted it, and I also started using the Papyrus Scarab for some more minion slots. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we are doing damage! Wait a minute. Wait, we are shredding it. I was just testing the new loadout, so I died, but then we shredding. We shredding. That was good. 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 Okay, now we go back up. God. I got really close, but no! A falling star! That was the worst possible death that could happen. Oh my, we would have won. Astramarius decided to summon Zeus on me, man. Why? Go, go, just go for it, just go for it, just go for it. Just go for it, just go for it, just go for it. No, 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 wait, don't go for it, don't go for it, don't go. Go! Let's go! Oh my god. This is a feeling I crave. This is the feeling I crave. Feeling Astromarius' blood on my hands. That is what makes me keep my sanity. I use the Starlight Fuel Cell for some more Adrenaline Mode damage and some damage reduction. Also, Astromarius drops the Asteroid Staff in the Calamity Zenith Seed. This will be very useful later. Then I went to the ocean to fight the next boss, Anahita and Leviathan. Now to spawn them, you need to kill this question mark NPC that can randomly spawn in the ocean. However... What? That's so stupid. That's so stupid. What? Wait. No. Wait. So, in normal Calamity, the Leviathan is big and Anahita is small. But in the Zenith Seed, Anahita is big and the Leviathan is small. Alright, with that... Oh, the boulders are so fast. I ended stream so I could focus more. But I tried again, and after dying once, I did it. The Leviathan's Calamity Zenith Seed drop is a lot of boulders. That's pretty fun. Then I used the Temple Teleportation Potion to go to the Temple Altar Room, and it was very dark. I got rid of all the traps, and after getting jumped by more queen bees, I summoned Golem. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, Golem is not only very tiny, but Golem also shoots a lot more projectiles. Yeah, I died. But then... You might be confused. Why did I show a montage of a failed fight? Well, for some reason, Golem dropped its treasure bag when it entered phase 2. It was also marked beaten in my boss checklist, so I guess we beat it? I don't know. Then I streamed again, and this was the final time I streamed, so after this, it'll be nothing but pure footage. After crafting the Abomination, I used it to summon the Plaguebringer Goliath. Oh yeah, I forgot it drops honey. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Plaguebringer Goliath does way more damage, and it also fires more nukes. Additionally, it drops honey when it dashes. Let's hope he doesn't do the nukes again. He did the nukes. Please do not lose adrenaline. Do not lose adrenaline. Go! Go! Don't... Oh my god, that adrenaline was so good. Oh, okay, wait. I just gotta go very, very far. I think that's the way to dodge it, maybe. Skeletron, ever think about going far? Alright, we good. GG's. 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 Easy. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Plaguebringer Goliath drops a bottomless honey bucket. I don't know how that'll help. I used the infected armor plating that dropped from the Plaguebringer Goliath to craft Plaguebringer armor, a Calamity Summoner armor set. I bought some truffle worms from Amidius, and I summoned Duke Fishron. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, Duke Fishron is speed. This was one of the harder bosses in the Calamity Zenith Seed, but me just being the goat I am, I clutched. I feel like I'm lagging a bit. Am I? Okay, that was a good dash. That was a good dash. Okay, so we got our adrenaline. Now to try and not get hit. I'm done. Like, I'm actually done. I managed to get it to the last phase, where he was insanely fast. Hey, this could work. Let's go! The falling star! Imagine if it hit me before I killed it. Why does it drop so much fish stuff? I wanted to do the second tier of the acid rain for a specific accessory, so I summoned the aquatic scourge, since I needed to kill that first before I can do the second tier of the acid rain. What could go wrong? What could go wrong, guys? What could go wrong? What am I getting hit by? Wait. In the Calamity Zenith seed, you take damage if you aren't close enough to Aquatic Scourge's head. But even though I learned that, I still died. I decided to activate the odd mushroom buff for 50% more damage, but in return... Okay. Let's go! Power! I can't see anything. Go! Let's go! Let's go! We got it! But now, I was able to do the second tier of the Acid Rain. Eventually the Kragmaw Mire spawned, and I killed that for the Nuclear Fuel Rod, another good summoner accessory. I went to the Abyss for Scoria Ore, which I used to make life alloys, a material to upgrade many items. Then I fought the Lunatic Cultist, which has a lot more projectiles than the Calamity Zenith seed. On my Calamity for the Worthy playthrough, I cheesed this boss fight using minecart tracks. But I didn't want to do that here. I wanted to beat this boss fair and square. So I died, and I ended stream so I could focus. So I spent a lot of time fighting the Lunatic Cultist. And after many attempts, I finally beat it without cheese. I destroyed all 4 of the pillars, and the Moonlord spawned. Hey, check this out! Yeah, in the Calamity Zenith seed, Moonlord's laser is 360 degrees. Also, he shoots attacks faster. But then, I got an idea. Remember the asteroid staff that dropped from Astromarius? Well, we can actually shimmer it, and it decrafts into Luminite. So I crafted the Flowers of Mortality, which is supposed to be a post-Moonlord summoner weapon, but we can use it pre-Moonlord because of the Luminite. I farmed Astromarius some more for more asteroid staffs, and I shimmered them. I was able to craft a full set of Stardust armor, so let's go back to fighting Moonlord. I had to try many times to beat this boss. Specifically, what was getting me was the boulders that Moonlord spawned. They bounced very high up and were just an overall pain to deal with. Plus that 360 laser was also really hard to deal with without the Rod of Discord. But after a while, it finally happened. I did it. I finally beat the Moonlord. In the Calamity Zenith seed, the Moonlord drops a Calamari's Lament, a summon weapon that's supposed to be post-Poltergeist. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I didn't use it. But whatever, we're post-Moonlord now, so get ready for some stupid bosses.
Right now, I'm not depressed. I'm just having a little break.
After Moonlord, these profane enemies started spawning in the underworld, so I grinded them for a material they drop called Unholy Essence. Using Unholy Essence, I crafted Holy Fire bullets to use with my Tactical Plague engine. And after crafting the exotic pheromone, I used it in the jungle to summon the Dragon Folly. Other than the fact that this boss was renamed to Bumbleburb, I couldn't find any Zenith Seed changes to this boss, so it was pretty easy. The Calamity Zenith Seed drop for the Dragon Folly is Omega Healing Potions, which heal you for 300 health, and they're supposed to be post-Devour of Gods. I farmed more Profane enemies for more Unholy Essence, and I used that to make the Profane Shard. I used the Profane Shard in the Underworld to summon the Profane Guardians. Yep, I died, but I beat it anyways. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Profane Guardians are recolored to turquoise. Also, I think they're faster? I don't know, but they seemed faster to me. I managed to get the Profane Healer down, and I went for the other two. I killed the defender, so the commander was left, and at some points of the fight, he charged at me really fast. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, the Profane Guardians drop a lot of chicken nuggets, and also Divine Geodes, which are supposed to drop from Providence. More progression breaks, I guess. I was running out of Luminite, so I mined these Exodium clusters that spawned in the sky after Moonlord, since they had a ton of Luminite in them. But using Divine Geodes, I crafted the Profane Soul Artifact, a summoner accessory that summoned 3 mini Profane Guardians, which give me some good buffs like more minion slots, damage, defense, etc. It's supposed to be post-Providence, but I was able to craft it because of the Profane Guardians dropping Divine Geodes. So I used the Profane Core that dropped from the Guardians, and Providence summoned. By the way, Providence is very small in the seed, but hear me out. Providence was very fast and shooting so many projectiles out. However, you may be noticing that I'm taking no damage. Skeletron, why aren't you taking damage? Well, ladies and gentlemen, my answer to that prestigious question is I have no idea. I was getting hit left and right, and I wasn't taking any damage. I only started taking some damage once the Profane Guardians spawned again, but other than that, I was perfectly fine. So hey, I guess we beat it? I wasn't using cheat sheet, I wasn't using any god mode, I don't know what happened. You can accuse me if you want. Also in the Calamity Zenith Seed, Providence drops Ascendant Spirit Essence. It's a material after the Devour of Gods, but I wasn't even able to use it much, because I needed other materials after the Devour of Gods to craft anything with them. Also, Providence dropped 2 other things, the Elysian Aegis and the Rune of Kos. The Elysian Aegis is a very good dash accessory which gives a lot of defense. And the Rune of Kos summons the Sentinels of the Devourer when used in different biomes. I switched back to Mage class because I wanted to use the SHPC again. Remember when I told you guys about how the SHPC scales? Well, it's actually insane after Providence. I farmed enemies in the Astral Biome for Titan Hearts, and at night, I used the Titan Hearts at the Astral Beacon to summon Astrum Deus. Now I completely forgot about Astrum Deus, so it's better to fight it late than never, but look at how fast the SHPC shreds the Astrum Deus. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, Astrum Deus actually splits into 10 instead of 2, but you know, the SHPC is just goated. After Astrum Deus has been defeated, you can mine Astral Ore. So I mined the Astral Meteor, and I used the Astral Ore to make the Deific Amulet. The Deific Amulet reduces potion cooldown and it gives more life regeneration. I mined some Yuli Bloom Ore that spawned after Providence was defeated, and using that, I made the Elderberry for an extra 25 max HP. I used the Rune of Kos in the Underworld to summon the first Sentinel, Cygnus. Cygnus is faster and also blinds the screen. Cygnus also shoots more attacks if I recall correctly, but I don't know. However, the SHPC was absolutely shredding this guy. It wasn't even a fight. The SHPC just absolutely shredded. I'm telling you. In the seed, this weapon is so broken. Also, the Calamity Zenith seed drops for Cygnus are the Nanotech and the Ethereal Talisman. The Nanotech is a rogue class accessory that I didn't care about, but the Ethereal Talisman is a mage accessory that's supposed to be post-devourer of gods, so it gave a ton of buffs. So naturally, it was amazing. So I of course reforged it, and I used the Rune of Cost and Space to summon the Stormweaver, the second sentinel of the Devourer. But funnily enough, unlike the Cygnus fight, I was doing no damage to the Stormweaver. So I went to the dungeon and found the Forsaken Archive, which is a very big space in the dungeon that Calamity adds. And it can be used as an arena for the Ceaseless Void and Poltergeist. So I used the Rune of Cost in the dungeon to summon the third and final sentinel of the Devourer, the Ceaseless Void. At this point, I just decided to skip the Stormweaver and the Ceaseless Void. I mean, they're just sentinels. If they were actual real bosses, I wouldn't skip them. Please just spare me. So, instead, I killed a bunch of these Phantom Spirit enemies that started spawning in the dungeon after Moonlord was defeated. Because if you kill 30 of those Phantom Spirits, the Poltergeist will actually spawn. In the Calamity Zenith seed, the Poltergeist fight had a lot of more projectiles everywhere. I didn't even know what was happening. I just got hit left and right. And so I died. Very surprising. So I dug a tunnel from the dungeon to the underworld. My plan was to use the underworld as my Poltergeist arena, because interestingly enough, Poltergeist only enrages on the surface. However, that means he doesn't enrage in the underworld, so I could use it as an amazing arena. So I used the Necroplasmic Beacon to summon Poltergeist, and I tried the underworld strategy. Eventually, Poltergeist summoned a clone, but unlike normal Calamity, the Poltergeist repeatedly dashes forever once it enters the second phase. But the Underworld arena was too good, so it didn't matter. Combined with the fact that my SHPC was just too goated as always, I was able to beat the fight. I farmed enemies in the Brimstone Crag for Bloodstone. After Providence, Brimstone Crag enemies start to drop Bloodstone, a material that's able to be used to craft a lot of things. I don't want to do this anymore. After farming for enough Bloodstone, I used the Bloodstone to craft Bloodstone Cores. Then using the Bloodstone Cores, I crafted the Lacerator. Now you might be asking, out of all the things I could have crafted, I crafted the Lacerator, a yo-yo. And it's not even that good of a weapon. I could have crafted something like Blood Flare Armor. Why did I craft the Lacerator? Well, I'm just gonna say this. You'll see. I reforged the Lacerator and I made a full switch to a melee class to use with the Lacerator Yo-Yo. I used Solar Armor, Solar Wings, the Badge of Bravery, the Fire Gauntlet, the Celestial Shell, and the Yo-Yo Bag, as they all help boost melee. The Yo-Yo Bag specifically is going to be amazing with the Lacerator. So I used the Cosmic Worm to summon the Devourer of Gods. I'm just not going to say anything. Just watch. You probably have 3 questions. 1. Why was it so small? 2. Why did he summon like 15 portals at once? And 3, which is probably the most important question, how did you do so much damage? Well, because here's the funny part. In the Calamity Zenith seed, the Lacerator has 4,000% more damage against the Devourer of Gods specifically. They could have done that with any other weapon, but for some reason they chose the Lacerator. I have no idea why, I have no idea how, but hey, I'm not complaining. So we basically shredded the Devourer just because of this one change. The Devourer dropped Cosmolite bars, which are going to be used to make a lot of items. But the Calamity Zenith seed drop for the Devourer was a lot of torches. And also a weapon called the Wand. The Wand is a post-Yarn weapon, and I used the Shimmer to decraft it into Yarn Soul Fragments. I made the Cosmic Anvil since it's a crafting station for a lot of the later items, and I used the Yarn Soul Fragments I got to make the Dragon Fruit for an extra 25 HP. The 2 new weapons I made were the Mirror of Kalendra and the Cosmic Viper engine. The Mirror of Kalendra summoned these 5 ancient weapons, which each did individual attacks, and it was really good. The Cosmic Viper engine was an upgrade to the Tactical Plague engine, shooting bullets and missiles at the enemy. For my accessories, I made the Nucleogenesis, the Sponge, and the Silver Wings. The Nucleogenesis gave many buffs to Summoner, including more minions, more damage, more critical strike chance, and more. The sponge gives 30 defense and 10% damage reduction, and it also gives you a barrier that can absorb up to 180 damage, which takes 15 seconds to recharge. The silver wings are just a very good pair of wings, probably the best wings I can get at this stage of the game. Then I farm Solar Eclipse enemies. After you kill the Devourer of Gods, enemies from the Solar Eclipse start dropping a material called Dark Sun Fragments. Once I got enough Dark Sun Fragments, I crafted the Dark Sun Ring, which gives more minion slots and damage. I did a final session of reforging just to ensure my damage was at its max, and after adding heart statues to my arena, I crafted the Blessed Phoenix Egg. I used the Blessed Phoenix Egg to summon Yaron. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, Yaron has much more health. Also, the pillars that he spawns, they're much closer, so the space that I have is much more limited. There's also the fact that when he does the bullet hell, Yaron also summons a fireball while you're in the bullet hell, so it's way harder to dodge the bullet hell. After a few deaths, I managed to get Yaron to 55% HP, which is when he entered the second phase. In the Calamity Zenith Seed, not only does Yaron heal all his HP when he enters the second phase, but Yaron also summons a Dragon Folly. But I already knew that because of my Calamity for the Worthy playthrough, so I used a strategy where I used teleportation potions whenever the Dragon Folly spawned. So the Dragon Folly could despawn and I can fight Yaron normally. I managed to get it to 8%. So I just kept dying for a long time, but on one attempt, finally, did you guys know how long this fight was? He had so much health. Also, for some reason, Yaron's Calamity Zenith Seed drop is another Blessed Phoenix Egg. He drops the item you use to summon him. But he also dropped the Drew's Wings, which are the best wings at this point of the game. So, of course, I used that. But I switched back to my mage setup. Don't worry, this is the last time I switch classes, hopefully. But did you guys know that SHPC gets, get ready for this, a 3000% damage buff after Yaron? So it's gonna be, you know, pretty good against the Exomechs. After Yaron, a new ore called Auricor spawns in the underground, so I spent some time mining that up. Using the Auricor, I made the Auric Tesla armor set. It's the best armor set in the game, other than the Demon Shade armor after Supreme Calamitas. Then I spent a lot of time farming for an accessory called the Purity. It had a pretty annoying crafting recipe, so it took me a bit to farm. After a lot of farming, I crafted it. The Purity does a lot of things, but the gist of it is that the Purity gives a ton of regen, and the lower health you have, the more regen you get. It has a bunch of other stuff too, but it's mainly just life regen. I reforged it, and I spent some time making the Codebreaker. The Codebreaker is what's used to summon the Exomechs, and you need to craft a series of mechanisms to make it work. And to craft more mechanisms, you need to decrypt schematics from different Draydon labs using Draydon power cells. It took me quite a while, but eventually I was able to decrypt all the schematics. But when I completed the Codebreaker, I decided to add one final additional step. I added a blood sample into the Codebreaker, and the contact button turned into an evoke button. I pressed the evoke button. Now, instead of the usual Draydon dialogue, he just said die. Instead of giving me the option to choose what Exomech to fight first, he spawned all of them. This right here is called Exomech Hecate. Hecate. I don't know how to pronounce this. The combination of every single Exomech. It might as well be called Exomechdusa, but the SHPC was actually doing wonders. It was doing some amazing damage. I managed to kill the Exo twins, and right after that, I killed Thanatos. This was my first try only, so I thought, hey, this might be easy. Then I died to Eris. But for a first try, that was pretty good. But on my next attempt, Eris actually enrages for some reason. It turns out, in the Calamity Zenith seed, Eris decides to enrage after you get it to around 60% HP. You do way less damage once Eris is enraged, so this is gonna be a pain. So I just kept trying. I already had good accessories and armor, I just needed to not give up. I tried using the odd mushroom again, but I don't know why I expected that to work. At one point, I got it to 16% HP, so I knew I could beat it. And eventually... But there's still one more thing to do. Supreme Calamitas. So I placed down the altar of the accursed, and I summoned the Supreme Calamitas. In normal Calamity, after the first bullet hell, the Sepulcher spawns along with some hearts. If you destroy the hearts, the Sepulcher will die. But in the Calamity Zenith seed, after you destroy the hearts, you also have to kill the Sepulcher, which is annoying. I didn't get very far on my first attempt, but after a few attempts, I got her to 45% HP, which is when she summoned her brothers. On that same attempt, I got the Supreme Calamitas to 30% HP, so I was doing better and better after every attempt. Then, it happened.